Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike Green. I'm one of the owners of 1A Auto. I want to help you save time and money repairing and maintaining your vehicle. I'm going to use my 20 plus years experience restoring and repairing cars and trucks like this to show you the correct way to install parts from 1AAuto.com. The right parts installed correctly. That's going to save you time and money. Thank you and enjoy the video.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace a rear window motor. This vehicle is a 2002 Sierra crew cab, same as a Silverado or Sierra for 99 to 02, 03 and up. The process to remove the door panel may be a little different. The tools you'll need are a regular screwdriver, a 7mm socket, 8mm socket, and 10mm socket with ratchet and extensions. There are two 7mm screws that you have to remove, or bolts, and one right in there, and then one down on the bottom corner here. And then as well, you need to pry out this trim panel, pry out your lock button, and pry out your window switch and disconnect it. Okay, so first, just put your finger under it. Pull out that bezel, regular screwdriver, stick it in the front there, pull out your lock button, window switch, also pry up gently there. In the front of it. And then there's a little tab, use your screwdriver, push on it, pull the connector down and out. You can also pry out your light and reflector, disconnect it. And your 7mm socket, ratchet extension. Okay, we'll just speed up here as we remove those two 7mm bolts. Once everything's bolted, then you just lift it up on your panel and it comes off. Okay, fast forward a little bit here. Slowly and carefully, I know I'm fast forwarding, but please slowly and carefully pull back your water shield so you can access the inside of the door panel. The window, I actually have my key on and my window switch is in. So you can see that the window is clipped in by two 10mm nuts here. You tighten these up and they tighten these clips up. Usually what happens on these regulators is the cables snap, and in that case you can bring your window up and down anywhere you need it. And as you can see, there's plenty of room in this door that if your window motor's broken and it won't move, you should be able to get in there and get at them. You can easily remove this speaker with three 10mm bolts here. Okay, and the last thing down here is my window motor. Just push on this tab. If you want, use a screwdriver. Push that tab. Down and out. So I use my 10mm socket and ratchet extension. Loosen up these two nuts. Okay, you can see my window's down a little bit. Once those are loose, you can just take your window and push it up into place. Okay, just use some blue painter's tape to make sure that the window stays up. Pull these two lower nuts.
now just loosen these two upper ones. Few turns. Oh, and there's a bolt right here that holds the window motor. Way down in the corner.
And we'll just speed this up a little bit as I take that lower bolt out.
The regulator can go out, up. Okay, to remove your window motor, there's three 8mm bolts here.
And we'll just fast forward as we remove those three 8mm bolts.
Disconnect the motor from the housing. New motor from Warning Auto. See, it's all the same. So bolt right in. Get it to mesh up with the gears there a little bit. Start our bolts back in.
Okay, fast forward as we tighten them up. You want to be careful not to tighten them too much because they are self-threading and you could strip the plastic threads.
Make sure you get your wires on the correct side down here. Also make sure that the regulator's on the inside of the window. The bolts they put on were a little too big to go through those slots.
What I'm doing here is the upper bolts you can leave in the regulator and you just hang them up in the doors. They go through larger holes and then slide down into slots. The bolts that came in the regulator, the heads were just a little too big to fit through the larger part of the hole, so I'm just threading them out, putting it in place, and threading it back in. Okay, fast forward here as I start that lower nut on, then I align the other rail, get it in, and start that nut. Okay, continue to move quickly here. I start the bolt that's in the lower corner of the window motor, and then I take my ratchet socket and extension, and I tighten all those 5 bolts up. You tighten them up firm, but not extremely tight.
I've got my key on. I'm going to plug my window motor back in, and now I'm going to run my regulator up Loosen up these nuts here. Remove my tape. Down, make sure it goes into the clamps here. Take a little bit of mild hand soap and just kind of grease the window a little bit. Go down into these clamps. Move the window down. Make sure it's going into the clamps where we want it to.
Okay, and push it down into the clamps. You may find that you want to loosen them up a little bit more. You basically, there'll be marks on the windows, and you just want to kind of line them up in the same place. Then use your ratchet extension and socket and tighten those clamps up. Again, these don't have to be extremely tight, but you want them nice and firm. It'll grip the windows. And I still have my key on, so I can just test the window, run it down, and back up. Okay, and we'll fast forward again here. I just tighten those clamps up another couple of turns, disconnect my switch, and then start putting my plastic shield on.
Okay, when you put this all back together, make sure this harness goes through this upper hole, and then make sure you put your lock rod through this lower hole here.
Now, in the interest of kind of keeping this somewhat manageable as far as length, I'm going to fast forward through putting the door panel back on. If you want to see this in regular speed, just check out our other videos for the Sierra and Silverado crew cab rear door panel install and replace. And once you get the door panel back on, it is a pretty easy process. You kind of put it back on, slide it down, a couple of bolts, the trim panels, and you should be all set. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.